California's housing market isn't just expensive, it's a trap that's swallowing the middle class whole. In San Jose, a starter home now costs over $1.5 million, demanding payments bigger than the median family's entire monthly income. In Los Angeles, buyers need triple the national average salary just to qualify for a modest house. And that's before property taxes, insurance, and $7 a gallon gas. And it's not slowing down. Today, we're counting down the 10 California cities where the American dream has been priced out of reach, and where even six-figure earners are losing the housing game. And our number one city will make you wonder if anyone but millionaires will live here in 10 years. 10. Stockton. Stockton's Central Valley location was supposed to offer families an affordable alternative to coastal madness. Instead, it's become ground zero for one of California's most devastating affordability disasters. Here's the brutal math. Median home prices hit $482,000, demanding $115,000 annual household income just to qualify for a mortgage. But San Joaquin County families earn a median of $74,000. That's a crushing 55% gap that's destroying homeownership dreams for two-thirds of local residents. The numbers get worse when you dig deeper. Major employers like Amazon fulfillment centers offer median wages around $48,000, completely insufficient for housing costs that demand six-figure incomes. Workers are commuting 2 hours each way to Bay Area jobs while paying Bay Area housing prices without Bay Area wages. It's financial quicksand. 68% of local households can't qualify for median-priced homes. Let that sink in. More than two-thirds of families living in Stockton can't afford to buy in Stockton. The price-to-income ratio has deteriorated 40% since 2020, creating market dynamics that are mathematically impossible for working families. Infrastructure is cracking under the pressure too. Municipal services are strained, transportation systems overwhelmed, and the community foundation that once made Stockton attractive is eroding as middle-class families get systematically priced out of their own neighborhoods. City number 9. Fresno. Fresno built its identity on agricultural abundance and housing affordability. Families could work the land, raise their kids, and own a piece of the American dream without breaking the bank. Those days are dead and buried. Central Valley cities were always the escape valve. When coastal California got too expensive, families moved inland where housing costs made sense. But Fresno just shattered that promise. Housing costs have exploded 85% since January 2020, actually exceeding the Bay Area's 78% increase. Here's what families are facing now. Median home prices of $425,000 requiring $102,000 annual household income against Fresno County's actual median income of $61,000. That's a 67% affordability gap that's literally impossible for most families to bridge. Agricultural workers earning $35,000 annually are expected to compete for homes demanding six-figure incomes. It's not just unrealistic. It's economically absurd. The very sector that built this community can no longer afford to live here. The market is rejecting local buyers entirely. New listing inventory jumped 42% while sales volume crashed 18%. Days on market stretched from 28 to 51 days as buyers simply vanish. Price reductions hit 34% of listings, the highest among Central Valley markets. 8. Bakersfield. When you compare Bakersfield to other California energy markets, the picture gets terrifying. This city is facing the worst combination of oil industry collapse and housing market dysfunction, a double disaster that's destroying the economic foundation families depend on. Median home prices hit $390,000, requiring $93,000 annual income against the actual median household income of $58,000. That's a 60% affordability gap. But here's the kicker. The jobs that used to close that gap are disappearing. Oil industry employment has crashed 22% since 2020 while housing costs increased 79%. The math is devastating. Fewer jobs, lower wages, higher housing costs. Petroleum sector positions that remain average $67,000 annually, but that's still insufficient for housing costs that demand higher incomes. Major oil companies just announced another 1,200 job cuts through 2025. Economic analysis shows each primary job loss eliminates 2.3 supporting positions, a multiplier effect that's about to devastate the local economy. Market indicators confirm the crisis. Mortgage denial rates hit 34%, among California's highest. Contract cancellation rates exploded 45% as buyers face qualification impossibility after initial optimism. 7. Riverside. The trends in Riverside are pointing toward complete market breakdown. We're tracking a 61.3% difference between what sellers want and what buyers can actually afford, the most severe buyer-seller imbalance documented in major California markets. This isn't normal market fluctuation. Healthy markets rarely see imbalances above 15 to 20%, making Riverside's 61.3% measurement a screaming warning signal of systematic market failure in progress. San Bernardino County housing hits $535,000 median prices, demanding $128,000 annual qualification income against county median earnings of $70,000. That's an 83% affordability barrier that's gotten worse every month for the past year. The region depends heavily on logistics and warehouse work, providing median wages around $48,000, grossly insufficient for housing costs that continue climbing. The employment base literally cannot support current housing price levels. Buyer behavior shows systematic retreat. Mortgage applications declined 28% year over year, while listing inventory increased 35%. Contract cancellation rates reached 22%. Indicating systematic buyer qualification failure. Wildfire risks are making everything worse, driving insurance costs to an average of $3,200 annually, while water availability concerns threaten long-term sustainability. 6. Sacramento. Sacramento's housing disaster is creating ripple effects that threaten the very functioning of California state government. When the state capital can't house its own workforce, we're looking at a crisis that goes far beyond housing affordability. State employees earning median salaries of $85,000 can't qualify for median-priced homes at $565,000. The impact is devastating. Teachers, police officers, firefighters, and administrative personnel essential for community function are being systematically displaced from the communities they serve. Sacramento County's median income of $81,000 creates a 66% affordability gap, requiring $135,000 for qualification. Here's what that means in human terms. A veteran teacher with 15 years of experience earns $78,000 but needs $135,000 to buy a modest home. Market behavior confirms the crisis accelerating. Days on market increased from 25 to 40 days, while price reductions affect 31% of listings. Contract cancellations increased 15% as buyers recognize qualification impossibility. When essential state workers can't afford to live near their jobs, policy implementation suffers, administrative continuity breaks down, and recruitment becomes impossible. California's seat of government has created a housing market that systematically excludes the very people needed to make government function. 5. Irvine. Irvine represents the ultimate planned community nightmare. Systematic exclusion disguised as family-friendly excellence. The numbers expose a mathematical impossibility dressed up as market choice. Median home prices reached $1.18 million, demanding $283,000 annual household income for qualification. Irvine's median household income sits at $108,000. That's a staggering 162% affordability gap that systematically excludes middle-class professionals from communities specifically designed to attract them. Here's how brutal the math gets. UC Irvine associate professors earning $125,000 can't afford local housing. Technology sector professionals at major corporations averaging $145,000 remain insufficient for area ownership. Even dual-income professional households earning $180,000 face qualification challenges. Only 9% of households can afford median-priced homes. Fewer than 1 in 10 families can participate in this planned community market. Additional costs make ownership even more impossible. HOA requirements, Mello-Roos assessments, and community facility fees average $8,400 annually beyond mortgage payments. Property taxes consume another $14,000+ annually. Market statistics confirm systematic buyer failure. Days on market increased from 28 to 52 days, while contract cancellation rates reached 31% as buyers confront qualification impossibility after initial enthusiasm for planned community benefits. 4. Los Angeles. Los Angeles built its reputation as the land of dreams and endless opportunity. For generations, families moved here believing hard work and determination could unlock the California lifestyle. That promise is now a cruel joke played on millions of middle-class families. The county-wide median home price hit $875,000, requiring $210,000 annual household income against county median family income of $78,000. This 169% affordability gap exceeds any historical precedent in California housing. Entertainment industry workers earning $95,000 median wages can't qualify for area housing. Technology sector positions averaging $128,000 barely meet qualification thresholds for modest properties. These are the same careers that historically provided middle-class stability and home ownership opportunities. Housing shortage estimates indicate 500,000+ unit deficit, while construction permits remain insufficient to address demand. Current production levels would require 47 years to eliminate existing shortage, assuming zero population growth. Market behavior patterns suggest systematic breakdown. Contract cancellation rates increased 31% year over year, while seller-buyer imbalances hit 44.8%. WalletHub ranks Los Angeles 294th among 300 cities for first-time homebuyer conditions, the worst ranking in city history. Census data confirms 350,000+ annual departures, while business relocation increases 28% annually. Demographic shifts that threaten California's economic foundation through systematic workforce displacement. 3. Oakland. Oakland combines the Bay Area's impossible affordability with unique infrastructure breakdown and safety challenges that create comprehensive market failure exceeding regional crisis patterns. Median home prices hit $925,000, requiring $222,000 annual household income against city median income of $85,000. That's a 161% affordability gap, but Oakland's additional challenges make it worse. FBI statistics confirm violent crime rates 180% above national averages, while property crime exceeds national rates by 145%. Insurance costs reflect this reality. Homeowner premiums average 67% above state averages due to theft and vandalism risks. Municipal financial data reveals $2.8 billion. Deferred maintenance deficit, while tax base erosion continues as middle-class families systematically relocate to safer, more affordable alternatives. Mortgage application approval rates dropped to 31%, among California's lowest. Contract cancellation rates reached 35% as buyers confront affordability reality combined with property condition and safety concerns. Oakland represents Bay Area housing crisis at its most comprehensive, combining regional affordability impossibility with unique infrastructure and safety challenges that systematically exclude middle-class participation. 2. Santa Monica. Santa Monica reveals the most extreme affordability destruction in the nation, a city that's become completely detached from economic reality while maintaining premium pricing that defies mathematical logic. Median home prices exceeding $1.6 million require $385,000+ annual household income for qualification. With city median income at $118,000, the 226% affordability gap represents systematic exclusion of all but the highest income households. Even high-income professionals prove insufficient for ownership entry. Technology workers earning $180,000 cannot qualify, while entertainment industry professionals averaging $145,000 remain excluded. Complete middle-class market elimination is progressing year over year. Coastal flooding insurance requirements average $6,800 annually, while earthquake coverage adds $4,200. Property taxes consume additional $18,000 plus annually for typical purchases. Real estate transaction volume declined 47% year over year, while days on market increased from 35 to 67 days. Price reductions affect 52% of listings, indicating seller expectation adjustment amid buyer qualification impossibility. Teachers earning $89,000 annually cannot afford community residence, while police officer salaries at $96,000 prove insufficient. Essential workforce displacement creates service delivery challenges that compound community dysfunction. WalletHub confirms Santa Monica as America's least affordable city, ranking 300th overall with affordability scoring 297th among national markets. Number 1. Berkeley. Berkeley claims the most catastrophic position nationwide, ranking dead last among 300 American cities for homebuyer conditions while creating systematic community destruction through complete affordability breakdown. Berkeley median home prices hit $1.45 million, requiring $348,000 annual household income against Berkeley's median household income of $97,000. This 259% affordability gap represents the most extreme economic disconnection documented. UC Berkeley creates unique impact distortions with tragic consequences. Associate professors earning $125,000 face complete homeownership exclusion from the communities where they teach and research. Full professors, averaging $178,000, struggle with market entry, while graduate students and staff face complete displacement. Police, fire, and teaching personnel cannot afford community residence, creating service delivery complications. A Berkeley police officer earning $96,000 cannot afford to live in Berkeley. That's systematic dysfunction threatening public safety. Transaction volume declined 52%, highest among Bay Area markets, while days on market increased from 28 to 73 days. Contract cancellation rates reached 39% as buyers confront qualification impossibility. Berkeley's complete affordability breakdown affects UC Berkeley recruitment capacity, nonprofit organization operations, and small business sustainability. Brain drain acceleration occurs as educated workers relocate to affordable markets. The human stories reveal the crisis scope. A veteran Berkeley teacher with 20 years of experience earns $89,000 but needs $348,000 to buy a modest home. A UC Berkeley research scientist earning $135,000 commutes 3 hours daily from affordable areas. Berkeley represents systematic destruction of intellectual community through economic exclusion, the death of a city's soul through mathematical impossibility. California's housing market isn't just expensive, it's breaking down in a way that's systematically wiping out the middle class. Across the state's biggest economic centers, the dream of homeownership is being dismantled piece by piece. Since January 2020, the average monthly home payment has jumped 82%, while wages have only crept up 23%. That's not a market correction. That's a massive wealth transfer, pushing working families out of neighborhoods their parents could once afford. This crisis is only set to get worse, with the Federal Reserve holding mortgage rates near 6.8% and construction costs climbing 8% every year. The impossible we're seeing now might look cheap compared to what's coming by 2026. California would need 3.5 million new housing units to stabilize prices. At the state's best-ever building pace, that would take 23 years, and even that's a political and logistical fantasy under current rules. The fallout is everywhere. More than 350,000 people leave California every year, and business relocations are up 28% annually. It's not just families leaving, It's the state's economic backbone slipping away to places where a paycheck still covers a mortgage. The 10 cities in this investigation are the most extreme examples, but the same story plays out in metros across the state. Teachers, police officers, firefighters, and nurses, the very people who keep communities running, are being locked out of the places they serve. If you want the kind of deep dive analysis that the mainstream won't touch, subscribe to Uncover the Cities and turn on notifications. Next week, we'll break down the California housing crash, which markets collapse first.